I offered to host Christmas. My in-laws said, "You can't even keep your own kitchen clean." My husband told me to lower expectations. I cooked anyway. No one showed up. That night, I cried in front of a full untouched table. But when my story was shared online the next morning, my name's Rachel. I'm 43, married to Greg, living in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We've been together since I was 33. I met him when I was just getting back on my feet after a rough divorce. He seemed steady, quiet, safe. I didn't need fireworks. I just needed someone who wouldn't lie or cheat. That's what I told myself back then. What I didn't realize was that safe could also mean emotionally absent. Greg's family has never liked me. Not once in the 10 years we've been married have they accepted me as part of them. His mom, Jean, is the ringleader. Cold, sharp-tongued, always making little jabs. "You're so down to earth. Oh, Rachel's not a real cook, but she tries." That kind of thing. Every time we had family dinners, I'd offer to bring something, and she'd assign me roles. Store-bought. Every year. It stung, but I let it go. I was raised not to stir the pot. My own parents are long gone, died in a car crash when I was 26. So, I wanted a family badly, even if I had to earn it. Last Christmas, after dinner at Jean's, I got brave. She was pouring wine and bragging about her bone china, and I said, "You know what? I'll host next year. Give you a break." There was a pause. Everyone looked at me. Jean smiled like I'd just told a joke and said, "Well, we'll see, dear." That was it. But I held on to that idea all year. I started prepping early, clipping coupons, buying cans of cranberry sauce in bulk, collecting centerpiece ideas from Pinterest. I even got a second-hand tablecloth off Facebook Marketplace, burgundy with gold trim. It reminded me of the ones my mom used to put out. Meanwhile, Greg just coasted. Never brought it up. Never told his family anything. I asked him about invitations in early December, and he shrugged and said, "You can message them if you want. They don't really use email." That should have told me everything. 2 weeks before Christmas, I was driving Greg to a mechanic to pick up his car. His phone rang Jean. He put her on speaker. She said, "So, what time should we come Christmas Day?" My heart leapt. Maybe he had told her. Then she added, laughing, "Or, are we supposed to pretend Rachel's hosting this year? You can't even keep your kitchen clean." I was gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Greg didn't say anything. He just smiled weakly and said, "Let's not complicate things." After he hung up, I stared at him. He looked uncomfortable, like he wanted the conversation to end. Asked him why he didn't speak up for me. He said, "Rachel, lower your expectations. You know how my mom is." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just nodded. I felt something break loose in me. A quiet kind of heartbreak. Not dramatic. Just final. The next week, I cleaned the house harder than I ever have. Bleached the sink. Cleared the cobwebs behind the fridge. Scrubbed the tile grout on my hands and knees. I cooked a full spread. Turkey, glazed carrots, garlic mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, pecan pie, apple pie, and my mom's cranberry jello salad. I set the table with the good dishes. I even folded napkins into little trees. Christmas Day, 4 p.m., I sent a group text. "Dinner's ready. Table's set." No one replied. I sat down and waited. At 5:30, Greg walked in with his coat on, holding a bottle of leftover wine. Alone. "They're staying at Mom's," he said. "Didn't want to drive." I looked at him. "You went there?" He shrugged. "Didn't want to sit here alone in case no one came." He microwaved a frozen pizza and sat in front of the TV. Didn't ask about the food. Didn't even glance at the table. That night, I sat there by myself. I didn't eat. I couldn't. It wasn't hunger. It was humiliation. I stared at the full, untouched table like it was proof that I didn't matter. Then I took a photo. Just the table. No filters. No caption at first. I posted it online the next morning with 5 words. Hosted Christmas. No one came. By noon, the post exploded. Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments. Strangers telling me I mattered. That I deserved better. That I wasn't crazy for being hurt. That's when the numbness melted away. And something colder replaced it. For the first time in my life, I realized I didn't need to beg for a seat at their table. I had my own, and they'd rejected it. So I would make damn sure they remembered that. Not with yelling. Not with tears. I was going to make them feel small. Publicly. Permanently. After that post blew up, I kept watching it grow. Every few minutes, new comments rolled in. Strangers offering hugs, telling me they'd been through something similar. Others were angrier than I was, calling Greg a coward, calling Jean worse. Some people even asked to Venmo me money to cover the cost of the wasted meal. I didn't take any, but the fact that they offered? It said more than anything Greg ever had. He didn't even know I posted it. Not at first. He was too busy playing Xbox and pretending none of it mattered. I think part of him figured I'd get over it, like I always did. That I'd clean up the food, move on, and pretend Christmas never happened. But I didn't. I left the food out for 2 days. Not because I was lazy. Because I wanted him to look at it, smell it, be reminded. I made a plate and set it in front of him on the couch. Cold turkey, dried stuffing. He pushed it away. Can you stop being dramatic? That's when I told him. I posted the table online. Thousands of people have seen it. They know what happened. He looked up at me, stunned. Then angry. You embarrass me. You embarrassed yourself, I said. You let your mother walk all over me. You let her mock me while I was in the car with you. And you did nothing. He stormed out. Drove to Jean's. I'm sure he told her everything. The next day, I got a call from his sister, Amanda. She's always been a little more decent than the rest of them. Not warm, but polite. She said, "Hey, I saw the post. Jean's furious. She says you made her look like a villain." "She is one," I said flatly. Amanda sighed. "Look, Rachel, I get it. But airing it online makes it hard for everyone. It's family." "No. You made it hard. When you didn't show up. When none of you even answered." Then she said something that turned my stomach. "We didn't think you were serious. Greg said it wasn't really happening." That was the moment it clicked. Greg hadn't just failed to stand up for me. He'd actively told them not to come. Made it sound like I was being silly. Like I was pretending to host. He sabotaged me. I confronted him that night. He didn't deny it. He said, "You are setting yourself up for disappointment." I just wanted to avoid drama. "You created the drama," I snapped. "I cooked for people who were never coming. You watched me bust my ass for weeks and let me do it anyway. What kind of husband does that?" He didn't answer. So I started sleeping in the guest room. I stopped cooking, stopped doing his laundry. I wanted him to feel alone in his own house. He barely noticed. The silence between us grew thick. We'd pass each other in the hallway and not speak. He'd make himself cereal for dinner, then leave the bowl in the sink. Not once did he apologize. Jean, meanwhile, started damage control. She called my phone one afternoon and left a voicemail. "I hope you're happy. You humiliated the whole family. You made us look cruel. This is why we don't include you." I saved the voicemail. And I posted it. I didn't add names. I just uploaded the audio with a caption. The kind of love my husband's family gives me. For anyone who doubted the story. That clip went viral. Jean tried to deny it, but her voice was unmistakable. People recognized it from other family videos she'd posted online years ago. Her Facebook got flooded with angry comments. She shut it down. Greg begged me to take it down. Said I was being vindictive. "No," I said. "I'm being honest." By now, friends who'd never said a word about my marriage were messaging me, saying they always thought Greg was cold, that they didn't know how I put up with it, that I deserved better. It was like waking up from a long sleep. I started seeing everything clearly. Every birthday he forgot. Every chore he never helped with. Every moment I covered for him. I used to think I was being low maintenance. Turns out, I was just being ignored. And now that my eyes were open, I wasn't about to close them again. I was done being quiet. A week after the voicemail clip went viral, Greg's tone shifted. He wasn't angry anymore, he was nervous. Almost polite. He started coming home earlier, doing the dishes without being asked, offering to pick up groceries. I didn't trust it for a second. Then one night he said, "Let's go to therapy. Maybe we can fix this." I stared at him across the dinner table. He'd picked up takeout, arranged it on real plates like that would impress me. And I knew he wasn't trying to fix us. He was trying to fix his image. The therapist he suggested? A guy his company contracts for wellness sessions. Someone who knew him professionally. It was a setup. I refused. I found my own therapist instead. 2 sessions in, she asked me a question I hadn't expected. "Do you think Greg's ever emotionally manipulated you financially?" That one hit me sideways. We've always kept our finances joint. I handle the bills. He handles savings. I never really questioned it. But when I started digging through the statements, I saw transfers I didn't recognize. Work stuff, he used to say. Investments. But over the last 3 years, he'd pulled nearly $27,000 into a private brokerage account I didn't have access to. When I confronted him, he said, "It's for our retirement. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd get anxious about the numbers." I didn't buy it. I called a financial advisor, showed them the statements. They confirmed what I feared. He'd funneled money into a separate account under his name only, a mix of crypto, stocks, and tech ETFs. If we split, I'd get nothing unless I could prove those assets were marital. That's when I stopped talking to him entirely. I got a lawyer. I didn't file for divorce. Not yet. But I had everything drawn up. I also made a quiet copy of every statement, voicemail, and text that showed his dismissiveness, his sabotage, his betrayal. Around that time, Amanda messaged me again. She wanted to meet. Said she had something to show me. I didn't trust it, but I went. We met at a Panera, 2 towns over. She slid her phone across the table and said, "Read this." It was a group chat. Greg, Jean, Amanda, and a few cousins. Screenshot after screenshot of Greg mocking me, telling them how I obsessed over a Christmas dinner like it was a damn Broadway show. How I needed to feel important, and how he let her play hostess because it kept her busy. Then Jean chimed in, calling me the help. Amanda was the only one in the chat who pushed back. Once. Lightly. She told them to ease up. That was it. "You knew about this?" I asked. "I didn't know it was this bad. I'm sorry." I didn't respond. I just took a picture of the phone. When I got home, Greg was already on the couch, pretending nothing had happened. I sat down beside him and said, "I saw the group chat. I know what you said about me. All of it." He blinked. Looked genuinely afraid for the first time. "That was just venting," he said quickly. "Jokes. You're taking it too seriously." I pulled out my phone, hit record, and I asked him to repeat that. He refused. Thought so. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I just stood up and went to the bedroom. Started packing a suitcase. He followed me. "You're not seriously leaving over this?" "I'm not leaving," I said. "I'm preparing." The next day, I met with my lawyer and handed over everything. Every screenshot. Every bank transfer. Every voicemail. I also contacted a reporter who ran a local blog on women's stories, emotional abuse, financial manipulation. I told her mine. She asked to publish it anonymously. I agreed. It went viral again. This time, Greg's company saw it. And that's when things really started to unravel for him. I didn't expect Greg's company to get involved. But they did. Apparently, his name had been floating in forums already. People speculating who the Allentown tech husband was in the viral Christmas story. Someone connected the dots. His LinkedIn, our wedding registry, the voicemail clip, even old holiday posts tagged with his family's names. It didn't take long. The blog updated the piece. Sources confirm the man in the viral story is an employee at Redacted. That was enough. He came home red-faced, silent. His boss had called him in. Not to fire him, but to say, "We're watching." Turns out Greg had signed a workplace ethics agreement. All employees did. And emotional abuse, even outside the office, put him on thin ice. He blamed me. "You made me a joke," he snapped. "People at work are whispering. I'm getting looks." "You are a joke," I said. "But you made yourself that way." That night, I filed for divorce. He tried to fight it, not because he wanted me back, but because he wanted to keep his money. He argued the investments were his. I handed my lawyer the receipts, the screenshots, the texts showing how I'd been shut out. We subpoenaed the brokerage firm. They handed over logs showing Greg accessed it from our shared home computer. Using my email, my IP. He folded. The settlement gave me 60%.
Plus alimony.
I used part of it to redo the kitchen. The same one Jean mocked. Granite counters. New tile backsplash. Modern fixtures. I posted a before and after photo. Captioned it. "Clean enough now?" The post exploded. Jean called me screaming. Said I ruined her family. I told her calmly, "You had the chance to be kind. You chose to be cruel. Now everyone sees you for who you are." Greg moved in with a coworker, last I heard. Amanda cut off contact with the rest of the family. She sent me a card after the divorce finalized. Said she admired what I did. That it made her rethink how she let people walk over her too. Christmas came again. This time, I hosted it for people who wanted to be there. A few close friends. Some neighbors. A woman from my cleaning job, whose husband left her too. We shared pie and pain and laughter. I cooked again. Every dish. At the end of the night, I sat at the same table. Full plates. Full hearts. And this time, when I looked around, I didn't cry. I smiled. Because I wasn't alone. I was free.